Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Lotus, Lotus the Sage. Thanks so much for joining me. So today's pick a card reading is going to be what is calling for you. So we're going to go over a few areas of inquiry, let's put it that way. For example, we're going to look at what you originally wanted and what's actually calling for you now, how it actually is for you now, and what you might be saying goodbye to. And then of course, we're just gonna get some layers onto that. So if that seems to interest you and what might be calling to you now, for pile one, I went with all even numbers today, just randomly. So pile one is number 2. Pile 2 is number 4. And pile 3 is number 6. Okay, my beautiful collective, take a second to choose your number or choose whichever way you choose, and I will see you at your choice. Welcome my pile ones who chose number 2. This might get confusing. I'm going to spread out your cards first. Okay, my beautiful collective, so I'm going to shuffle the Akashic Tarot deck, and I'm going to get a card for each position, and then I will flip over the guidance and other cards that are available. Okay. So for your pile 1 position, this is what you originally wanted. I will show you them in a second. How this second position is how it is now. The third position is what you're saying goodbye to. The fourth position, what will remain behind you. The fifth position, how it'll be for now, from now. Sixth, what's actually calling you now. Oh, they said no reverse for this one. Okay. The assistance available for you, number 7 position. And the fuel to keep you going. Bottom of the deck energy is the 7 of keys in the reverse. Shut you up right. Similar to the 7 of wands. Okay, let's get it. So your first position, as we said, is this is what you originally wanted. So we're going to look at our oracle first. This card really always reminds me of this, at the essence of time, of what we value, how we value our time. What do you feel like is running out? Did you want to do something very quickly? It feels like a sense of trying to get somewhere or build something very quickly. And we have this energy of 2 of keys, which is the treasure. So there's a feeling behind what you originally wanted was, it almost feels like for things to be easier or for things to work out in a particular way. Yeah, and there is something about like the speed in which you wanted to do something, or how you were creating this balance in your life of the material and your sort of sustainability and structure. And they're bringing me to the sand that's still trickling out of the sand glass, you know, the hourglass. It's not filling up, it's pouring out. You know, so there's something about living for the here and now. There might have been a sense of living freely, you know, or not considering the future, or vice versa, too rigid and not being free, and then that created its own sense of blockage. But yeah, I think there's something about you originally wanted it in, for a plain example, is just wanted it to come a little, or thought it would come a little bit easier, or the path would be clearer or easier to maintain in some way. Okay, you got two of these, I guess, archetype also kind of decks, cards. So we have multilingual and 20s. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It feels like this, like, free-spirited. Maybe that's what more of the energy is, this free-spirited energy, wanting to travel, again, sort of not thinking about the future too much, you know, living in that essence of the purity of now, but without, I guess, maybe without considering the harshities or the realities of what life, or how life can come up, or how life can present. Especially if it was like in your 20s where you're like, I was traveling, I was free, you know, I could do anything I want, I had time on my hands, you know, like, and there's something about either treasuring that time and or about how you used that time. Okay, they said to go on, and we can come back to fill in. So for your second position, this is how it is now for you. So first out, you have the Three of Roses, loving elements in the reverse. Your archetype card is the Liberator. It says, light attributes, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Shadow attributes, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. So in the upright, I usually take the energies as the light attributes, but if there is something that brings me back to the shadow, then of course I will consider that too. So what it feels like where you're at now is either a sense of liberating yourself from this way of thinking, or this old way of being where everything was a little bit more, you know, social and easy flowing and less responsibility and friend base, and there's a different type of support system, you know? There was like more people to be able to sort of feed off of prior, and now it feels like you've liberated yourself from that need or that want or that sort of like FOMO energy. Yeah, thin body. Interesting. So yeah, it's making me feel like, again, that same energy of me talking about like sort of dieting away from this energy. That's what it feels like. It feels like you are thinning out what no longer serves you when it comes to friends, family dynamics, environment, relationships in general. Like there is a definite like freedom energy of releasing yourself from outdated beliefs or constructs when it comes to time. And when it comes to like who you choose to share your energy with. You know, what are those loving elements in your life now is really what this focus is on. This is what's freeing you. Again, out of releasing outmoded beliefs, you know, and this is where you were originally wanted. You have matured in a sense, of course, but that youthful energy is still there, is why I say in a sense. The maturity is there when it comes to the wisdom, but you have not lost that sort of like vigor and zest for life, is what I feel. Let's see for position 3, what you're letting, or what you're saying goodbye to, letting go of or saying goodbye to. So first we have the One of Scrolls, and it says on track, which is like the Ace of Swords. And you have regeneration. That's awesome. Like what you're saying goodbye to is, it's like a sense, sorry, the best way I can put it, it's coming home into self. It's the last layer of shedding. You know, it's almost like the last or a final purge almost. It really does feel like I don't know. I don't know if I can say that it's the last layer of shedding, but it sort of feels like that in whatever particular cycle or journey this particular path was leading you on. It's like done. And so now the need to regenerate oneself, meaning like the true essence of your soul, is no longer needed. You are on track now because you are no longer affected by these external energies, beliefs, environments. Like you're fully releasing the fear, fully stepping into your full potential, letting go of everything else. Just like we said, this is what's happening. And I feel like there's not a need anymore for you to regenerate in this way. It's going to be the end of this particular cycle. And now you are fully on track and listening to your own personal truths. You know, that's the feeling I get. And that regeneration energy is, again, this like freedom, this liberator. And then faithful, yeah, faithful now to yourself. Exactly. On track now. Really on track. It's like the external influence did its job and allowed and supported and nurtured this energy that was within you. You have matured. It has freed you from this, let's, in a sense, if we're talking about archetypes, this maiden energy, and stepping into like the mothering of yourself, and in also at the same vein and the crone. It's like you've double leveled up in one sense. I'm not being able to speak at the moment. It's very strange. That has led you into this true path of faithfulness of yourself, of a real soul regeneration and recoiling of your energy, a recoiling of the essence that was scattered and fragmented. And it is now coming back into the whole, is how they're showing it to me, like a Kundalini energy. They're showing me the serpent up the spine. Beautiful. Let's see what remains behind you. So we have the light of the world as your tarot, and the Queen of Scrolls. This is similar to like the Wheel of Fortune and the Queen of Swords. So, but there's a different energy with the light of the world. It feels like what you're releasing, or what you're really saying no more, or it stays where it is. A part of this energy is, I feel like, the lack of clarity on who you might have been or who you wanted to be. And sometimes this card talks about like a wise sage knocking at your door for an opportunity, but distracted. This man inside here is distracted by sweeping, and he's not hearing the knock at the door. So this is what this is feeling like to me here. You have finally heard the knock and listening to your truth. So you're leaving behind, again, the lack of, I guess, of self, of not being faithful to yourself, of being stuck in a belief system, a way of being, an environment, or even a relationship, if that's applicable, you know. And you are leaving behind this, not taking the opportunity and listening to the truth. And we have Shaman of Song. Again, talk about listening, right? Shaman of Song, are you hearing that call? Where are you hearing that call? That's what it feels like. You don't need to, like, it's almost like you don't need to wait for like the big grand gesture anymore. It's like you're hearing the whispers. That's a better way to put it. You're hearing the whispers now, and you're leaving behind doubt, is what I'm getting. And light hair. They just said it's a lightening of your energy. That's what more specifically they're referring to. But of course, light hair can be significant for you, for the people involved, what you may have left behind, with the hair color you even may have left behind. I'm also feeling like a haircut. They're showing me that too. Shaman of Song. And this beautiful Shaman of Song talks about opening the way of places that might have been closed, coming right back to that knock at the door with that sage. You know, it's like hear the song, hear the call. You are leaving behind, not listening quite literally to yourself. That is what I'm feeling the most heavily. This is awesome. Okay. How it will be from now. This is interesting. We have caught in the ruins. Interesting. I want to see this first. Oh, frick, perfect. Autumn equinox, autumnal equinox, excuse me, release and caught in the ruins. Again, this is how it'll be from now. It is going to be a continuous, they said you are going to continue releasing from this feeling, because it's going to still show up in different areas on how you had been blocking yourself from your full potential or from your full actualization of self. Because this card always, it's similar to like that tower energy, right? So, and imprisonment, there's like a whole extra layers here. But what I'm getting, what I always get from this particular card of Caught in the Ruins, for me, like there's that opening up there, and I know that this is like a singular picture of a moment, but it doesn't feel like you can't get out. Like that's what I feel like. As a climber, I would have climbed up this, found my way, caught in that branch, and out. Lotus is running, you know, like, and this feels like we're just complacent with being in this cage, in this repressed version, you know, and this is what I feel like is being released. What's from now on is like, I am no longer putting myself in a cage, in a box, and limiting my full potential, my abilities, my gifts, my wants. You know, I'm no longer judging this version of me, and I'm not regretful of my past choices. I am using them now because I really like who I am and who I'm becoming. That's what it is for you now. Yeah, 40s. Yeah, look at that beautiful progression. You know, like it's like this release of this, a particular, I don't want to even call it like a child wounding. It was a child experience, excuse me. It was a growth and adolescent, youth, young adult, however you want to put it. It was a part of your particular journey for you to get where you are right now. It was necessary. And they just keep bringing back to treasure. Treasure this time. You know, because this releasing, even if you're not in your 40s or you're approaching your 40s, or when you get to your 40s, this might be a thing, you know, for you to remember or to recognize that this release is within my power, that I'm the one who's chosen to set myself free again, releasing myself from this cage and walking in my path, walking on track, walking in my divinity, which is that liberator energy, you know? Beautiful. Okay, let's see what's actually calling to you now. We have the Divine Physician. Again, talks about healing, love, compassion, empathy, new ways of healing too, spiritual healing. Reiki in particular really gets me with this particular card. Saint Germain is coming up also energetically. There's a call to help and be of service and to heal. And they just said heal within self and heal others. And in so doing, they said, and in so healing yourself, you will also be healing others in a better capacity. You'll be able to hold more light, is what they said. Beautiful, damn. And then we have the Sacred Fool. Yes! Wants to venture on this journey for real. As this beautiful divine physician to some degree. I'm going to read a little passage from the book for the Sacred Fool. But it's that newness, that wanting to... Ooh, excuse me, pal. One. You guys just choked off my throat chakra. I am curious, so... I'm going to read from the book first. Excuse me. And then I will figure out why they choked me up right there. Side note, the number 4 might be really significant. They just said 444, and they said 1, 2, 3. What number is it? Yeah, 40. Oh, damn. So 40 is really significant here. My one. Forgive me. It says, "The fool is a great rebel, able to thwart convention and tell the truth without restraint." Without restraint, jokes. Your heart is a wonderful, powerful, sacred tool. It cares not for the right way to do things. It cares not for what the mind says is real and not real. It lives according to an inner wisdom that cannot be dictated to or controlled by anything. It loves, it lives, and it is what it is. This oracle brings you a message. It is time for you to play. It's time for you to let life happen in a completely unreserved, unscripted way. The more bizarre, left of field, unexpected, and apparently ridiculous, the better. This might not feel safe or appropriate at first. That is okay. That is good, actually. It's a sign that you are breaking with your own self-imposed conventions. Again, this liberator, releasing, trusting on the right track now, ready to step into that divine position. It is a time to move beyond them now because a bigger life and adventure is calling to you. As you take this journey, you may find that people around you are challenged. You might unintentionally cause them to rethink the way they live their lives. They may question whether the way they're living is the only way for them or even the best way. At first, they may react rather than take responsibility. The sacred fool in you doesn't engage with this. It is what it is, and it rises and falls as it will. It does not stop you from your merry dance of unconditional being. Get it, pile one. That's the shit I love. You know, with that beautiful divine position, it is time for you to step out of this conventional or this old way. And that convention for you was just an old version, even if it may have been unconventional. It's different for you now. Yeah, it's confident now. It's ready to step into that role, like I said, truly, faithfully into the role of the sacred fool, of the liberator, you know, of the treasure that's within, of listening to the call, of staying in your power. Ooh, I love it. Let's see what the assistance is available to you. So we have the King of Forces, King of Forces in the reverse. Spirit's saying we're talking about the subtleties that we were talking about in Shaman of Song. There's not the same kind of. It's so interesting because in my hallway right now, there's two of my neighbors, two males on my floor. They have a very deep resonating voice and always very cheerful and jovial when they meet each other in the hallway. But it's this, I don't know, my father also had this very like deep kind of like, my voice is also deep, but like a deep, like resonant, a guttural voice. That's the best way I can say it. It's not from the throat, it's not nasally, it comes from the gut. And they're bringing me to that type of energy, that force of that masculine output, in other words, you know, it's quieted, but the force behind it is still there. You know, and maybe this is where they're bringing in my voice. Maybe that's the translation of me getting that masculine type of dominance in my voice, but with a female essence. Maybe there's something about that energy here for you when it comes to the tool, the assistance available for you. It's about how to approach this new energy, or this new you, or this new path, or this new track. It also talks about that they're echoing to the sacred fool, They're talking about the separations that might happen or the people you might disturb based on your new energy. You know, to allow this sort of separation needed for you to fully embrace your path. And remind yourself that you're not alone on this force behind this confidence. I don't feel like you're going to feel as, I guess, vulnerably swayed by emotional temporary pleasures. And I'm not talking about this necessarily in like a romantic or sexual way, but it's sort of like being frivolous with your own personal wants, you know, and not putting them as in the forefront to some degree. The assistance now is the force behind it for you to listen better to yourself and to use that energy quietly but still forcefully. Then we have rebirth, Shiva Lingam, number 21. And 2 came out, Inner Wisdom, Mother Gaia. Geothite, number 17. So those 2 crystals or stones might be really significant, or helpful, I should say. So Mother Gaia, she talks about that the wisdom that you are searching for is within you. And remind yourself to look inside yourself and try not to get swayed again by the outside of the external energies. A reminder and knowing that you are connected to all and everything. You also have the wisdom of life experiences and those of your ancestors already with you. Have you been looking for answers outside of yourself? This was what you were, is what I'm getting at. And this is what I feel like you're stepping into, this inner divine Gaia, Mother Gaia energy, connecting deeply with your earth and your ancestors and this wisdom. You're creating more time for you, more time to meditate, more time to regenerate your own energy, in other words. You know, they're no longer needing this regeneration. It's a self-regenerating now. This rebirth of this energy within you. And again, rebirth talks about shedding skin, like we talked about in that regeneration. An opportunity to get rid of your old ways. A time to look deeper at self. The natural parts of you. You're birthing a new state of being, a new state of consciousness. You're being pulled in a direction and you are, again, quietly being asked to follow. And you absolutely are. Just continue to dance to the own beat of your drum. And you will not falter. Beauty and fashion, yeah. This feels like, you know, like, again, this rebirth energy for you. It's like everything sort of like, again, this youthful energy. You just get like, literally a new shed of skin. It's like you literally got a facelift, a spiritual facelift. Let's put it that way. That's what it feels like. Like everything's just fresh, cleared, clean, and beautiful. Beautiful. Like there's again, holding more light energy. I love this. And then the fuel to keep you going, my lovelies. You have will, wisdom, and the mind. That's exactly right. Everything in alignment for you. You know, proper judgment, understanding the will and appetite, using the wisdom, being mindful, using your smarts now. Oh, interesting. They just said using the smarts that you learned from your 20s. They brought me to 20 here. And all the multicultural, and they said very global and broad perspective of life you gained at an early age. You're very open and compassionate, and this is why you are called to serve. You know how to connect, and this is what you were learning. But you didn't have good boundaries back then. You didn't know yourself well enough or what you wanted enough clearly back then, and that is absolutely okay. Because this is where you are now. You know exactly what you want now. The will, wisdom, and mind are combined now. You are connected. You're in your own holy trinity. Amazing. We have initiation. Look at this for you. Spiritual testing of Ra and the Lady Isis. I think you went through it, my friend. This is the fuel to keep you going. This is the initiation. This is it. This is it. Like you're here. You've arrived. Like that's literally what I'm getting. Like you're at the door. Okay, I'm going to read a passage from the book for initiation. It says, when you are being spiritually initiated into the mysteries of light and power, there are moments of deep challenge. The key is to find the light within the challenge, the learning, growth, or wisdom that can be summoned to turn the challenge into an opportunity for healing. Whilst the scorching heat of Ra seeks to burn through any resistance, The Lady Isis with compassion and cleverness will protect you from burning and instead enable you to nourish and grow from the light of Ra. This is exactly what I was feeling with this, the King of Forces in the reverse. You know, it's that feminine energy within that masculine. Quite literally, you know, using that force, but learning how to do it with grace. It's perfect. Let Isis help you pass the test of intense growth as you thrive with new life. All of this is about that initiation, this new life, this rebirth, this regeneration, this liberator, this release, this listening, you know, like forgetting the constructs of what your time frame used to be before. This is exactly where you need to be. And a sense of humor, that's it. You're fueled to keep going. Continue to have a sense of humor or gain a sense of humor through what's all that has happened, what will happen, what you've learned, your past self. Laugh at it. Find joy in where you are, that sacred fool again. It's freaking awesome, Part 1. Wow. So that is what is calling to my beautiful. It's the sacred fool, the divine physician, and the confidence. The tools available, or the assistance available for you is that inner wisdom to trust in that, knowing that this is a rebirth phase, to take and embrace it, which I think you are. It is the fuel to keep you going, this initiation. Have a sense of humor, trust yourself. All of it is beautiful for you. You are faithfully accepting this track, this path. Happy about it. I love it. Oh, they just said the ascension, this new ascension after you're off of this track, which you're in the process of merging out of, this new ascension will not be a quick one either, but wishes will be fulfilled. You know, it's like you are ascending, but it's not going to be like quick just because the switch is made. You know, you are now like, again, there's a part of it that's a solo journey. They keep bringing me to this solo journey. This dude by himself, solo journey. This guy up here by himself, solo journey. You know, there's an energy of that. So that sacred fool energy wants its time in the sun. That's it. So give it to him. Give it to them. Oh, my beautiful collective. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was fun and engaging for you. If it was in any way and it was helpful, please leave a like. I would love to hear about it in the comments. I'm sending you so much love. Keep watering your lives. Ciao. Welcome my pal 2 who chose pal 4. We're going to spread out your cards. Okay, my pile 2. We're going to look into the Akashic Tarot, and we're going to get a card for each position, and I'll explain each position as the card comes out. And we'll get into the messages. So, your first position is what you originally wanted. You have the King of Roses. Second position is how it is now. The Muse in reverse. What you're saying goodbye to, position number 3. 6 of Roses. What remains behind you. The Oracle of Delphi in the reverse. How it is now. Or how it will be from here on, I should say. They said shuffle again. Alrighty. How it'll be from here on out. The light of the world. And then, what's actually calling for you, child 2? Diversity in reverse. Assistance available to you. 5 of Keys, wishes fulfilled. And the fuel to keep you going. So we have Hilarion in the reverse and the Akashic Library. Bottom of the deck energy is the Akashic Field in the reverse, which is the One of Forces. Like the one of, the Ace of Wands. Okay, so starting off over here. This is what you originally wanted. The King of Roses is similar to the King of Cups. I just heard you were romantic. You wanted to find true love, a destined love. I'm feeling like a very sort of shy, romantic, and very loving energy, but somewhat lonely for some reason. And then we have this number 44. This is interesting. There's something about fitting in for you. I don't know if it's about trying to find, like, again, speaking about this like romantic or the right type of partner or love or your soulmate, something like that. But there's also something about trying to fit in to some degree when it came to the people or the energies around you or what you thought was or how you thought you should be to get what you wanted or to win the affections of somebody, to be seen as a worthy contender, to not be overlooked, but there's still something very different about you. And I think you've been trying to fit yourself in somewhere that you really didn't technically need to try to fit in to belong there, because it's not the essence of you. This is interesting. Give me a moment. Yeah, there's something really heavy about that energy, about, you know, belonging and fitting in, and you did, but something about it just is not fully all you. This also can have to do with like a father archetype where there's you wanted to resemble certain aspects or the certain dynamics of the way this person carried themselves, loved, supported, however that may be. Let's see what else. Animals. Yeah, it really does. I'm serious, like my pal too. It really does feel like a sense of family. Like you wanted a sense of a particular sense of family or belonging in some way. But I don't know why I'm getting so strongly that there's something that you kind of ignored though about yourself within this dynamic that made you feel somewhat disconnected. Why didn't really fully fit. Exactly. Yeah, why didn't really fully fit. They're saying you weren't seeing it clearly. No, they said you weren't. Sorry, they corrected me. They said you weren't seeing yourself clearly. Interesting. Okay, let's continue, and then this will give us. This will make more sense as we continue. How is it for you now? We have the Muse in the reverse. That exhale feels like the word that came to me right away was like uninspired. Like uninspired to do much, but they're getting me like in this reference, like uninspired to believe in that anymore. Like it's, oh man, it feels like a jilted lover or jaded about the falsities of people, how people misuse or use people, the facades and masks people wear, what they hide behind. There's something about you discovering the disappointment, I should say, you know, like it's the disappointment in that particular viewpoint or perspective and reality, but their spirits wanting to say to you and emphasize to you that the muse and that spark has always been within you, but you've been externally looking for it outside of you, and then trying to look for acceptance when that's not the true essence of you. You are all these loving things, but it wasn't coming from a place of genuine get to know me. It's like, I want to, these people similar to me, or like it was convenient. That's the best way I can say it. It worked, and it was still a group or that cohesive type of harmonic energy, but there's something that just feels very off for me, and I'm trying to figure out. Shapeshifter, there we go. Thank you, Spirit. How it is now. Light attributes, skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. Shadow attributes, projecting an image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. And that's what I think it was. I don't think it was like ego-based agenda. It was like lack of ego, almost, in a sense, like a lack of self, and assuming that everybody else had something other than you. And you, again, the shapeshifter, exactly this energy of you being able to fit in to these energies of the swans, right? But you still a human, my G. Like, you a human. You know, we can take on the essence of this, but there is something about it that, you know, eyes closed, about not seeing that in you, not seeing your value, of your worth, of your beauty, of your charm, of your love, of your own uniqueness, you know, and assuming that everybody else had something more to offer or was more useful in some way. And now you're seeing it. You are shifting out of that perspective and slowly recognizing that you are that you are this beautiful muse, that this beautiful king of roses energy, that is innately who you are. Sorry about my OCD over here. But you are, you know, there's a want for this shift. 30s, there it is. This is where you are now. Maybe you are in your 30s. Maybe you're approaching your 30s. Maybe this is what the shift will be for you in your 30s. You will come out of this wanting to please somewhat in this energy and step into who you actually are. That's what's calling for you, stepping into, which is brilliant. Stepping into this beautiful phase of, again, really knowing what your wants are in your 30s. Or getting closer to that ideal anyways, that's for sure. Okay, let's see what you're saying goodbye to. So we have the War of Roses, 6 of Roses, similar to the 6 of Cups. Again, they're talking about past energies. So for some of you, they said that it can have to do with both, specifically family and father or father figure, or the masculine or patriarchal energy in the home. It has to do with past connections in general. They're talking familial, ancestral, and karmic. They're also talking about, they're saying to me that there's been like this ancestral debate between ways of doing something, approaching something, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, sort of monarchy. And there's an energy for you of walking away from that type of involvement in that legacy. It's like your contribution wants to be in a very different way. And so what you're saying goodbye to is this old system, is what I feel. The old system of belief, the old system of people, the old system of operating. And Queen of Hearts, yeah, because you're now moving from the heart. Exactly. You're not going to... They're saying that it's not like you weren't moving from the heart before. It was just that your heart was you were following. That's what they said, you were following. And now you're leading. That's the difference. You are leading with heart now, not allowing your heart just to follow. It has a more direct purpose and wants to be utilized. And this Queen of Hearts, when it talks about what you're saying goodbye to, it's perfect because the Queen of Hearts talks about stopping, taking a moment to see what's really going on so you can readjust and refocus before continuing on. And this is what you're saying goodbye to, right? It's like, what am I readjusting to? What's really happening here in this dynamic? What's holding me to my past? What karmic ties have I created or still are there that I have not let go of or have not been aware of? And this war on the roses in particular, they're also making me feel like a war on your heart to a degree, because there is something that is going to be sacrificed. Like I can feel that. And the sacrifice for some may not feel like a big sacrifice, meaning like if I need to separate or I'm not talking to my family for a long time or anymore, I have come to that peace. And some of you, that will be a very difficult decision for you to do, and you won't want to do that. You know, so I think that what they're saying here when it talks about saying goodbye, what you need to say goodbye to is you cannot put yourself second anymore. Period. It doesn't matter for who, for what. You can't. Because what you want wants you, and you cannot get what you want if you remain in that energy. Spirit was straight up with that. Okay. Then we have problem solver. Yes, this is exactly what you're trying to figure out right now. How do I solve this problem here? In whatever way or whatever capacity, and how this War of Roses applies to your life. How am I solving this problem? Ooh, through creativity, through art, through your expression. Maybe specifically through music, through dance, through poetry, through spoken word. But it feels like to find a part of the stop with this Queen of Hearts here is to refocus and readjust and see what's going on. How you will find the solution to the problem is in your downtime, is when you are creating, when you recognize that you are that muse. The solution will come. It'll be easier for you to do whatever decision is needed for you. I love that. What is going to remain behind? The Oracle of Delphi in the reverse. They said not trusting your intuition, not trusting your guidance and your guides. You're leaving that behind. You're leaving not allowing yourself to fully tap into your emotional energies. In a sense, in a way, to be able to use them better now is what I'm getting. Like they've always been there, but they've been, again, following. And now, like I said, you are leading with the heart. And now you're being able to, I guess, discern for yourself what is truth, instead of needing to look outside of yourself for help, assistance, or guidance from others. In some respect, of course, yes? And then ancestor of skill. That's right. It's like using your own, relying on you. Same energy, just literally relying on myself now to really, really trust me. Trust me. The ancestor of skill talks about finding balance and teaches you how to find balance and wisdom, how to channel whatever task you need to undertake to enable you to find and uncover the skills exactly that you need to continue that muse, that whatever that energy is for you. It will help transition your energy into a more positive one. They want you to express your artistry, and life itself can teach you how to do so. Access this most important skill in you. Knowing the art of living authentically for you. The artful and versatile soul can always find a way, no matter how wide or deep the chasm ahead. Yes, again, the skill of recognizing and tapping in and listening to your spirits, to your spirit guides, to your ancestors, to your own intuition. Again, you are now releasing that I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to pretend that I am not as important or as skillful or as something else. You're leaving behind the doubt, period. Air sign. You might be an air sign, but they're also giving to me like that hot air balloon, like it's up and away. Up in smoke now, it's no longer an issue. But again, you might also be an air sign. Or air signs might be important in this energy also. Okay, let's see how it will be from now. So we have the light of the world, similar to the Wheel of Fortune, excuse me. And we have fog, veiled. Interesting. So, wait, hold on. Okay. So, what I'm getting here, how it'll be from now, they're giving me a sense of there's two messages, and I'm just trying to figure out which one is the one that they want me to speak of first, and how does it segue into the other. Sorry that I'm figuring this out as they're chatting. There's something about stepping in and out of the fog, taking the opportunity now, again, listening for these signs. The sage in this deck, in this card, talks about knocking on the door of this person's house and them not hearing the opportunity that the sage wants to give them, this wisdom, this gift. And the fog, it says something's veiled, it's covered, we're not being able to see something. So it feels two essences, like some things are not going to be available for you to see. And you have to be okay with stepping in the darkness, of walking through that with this mini lantern, that hermit energy. But also, through this walking through the veil, quite literally, there is this beautiful opportunity wanting to emerge from you. It also feels like right now you might be like blocked spiritually or energetically, like you're not being able to hear your ancestors or your spirit guides. You know, something is deliberately on purpose being veiled to you. And they keep saying like the light of the world, and this light they keep shining here, it is not yet time. There's something about that. It's not yet time for you to fully emerge anew, you know? But it's like you're in the thick of the fog, and you're not blinded by it. You're just walking. And right now they just want you to be in peace in this darkness right now. Whatever this downtime, whatever this void time is, this screen time. You know, maybe there's some of that where you have to disconnect right now. It is a sense of disconnecting, disengaging for a bit. I guess maybe because spirit really wants to switch up. They're saying cellular restriction. So there is, again, an awakening within you, an upgrade, sorry, is the word I was looking for. And for them to help, I guess, stitch together, so to speak, the parts of you that have been fragmented, and also you doing it for yourself, you know? This recalibration within the body and the mind is what's happening during this downtime. So don't feel like you are not getting anywhere or lacking progress, or don't try also too hard to connect that way also. If it's not there, just be in the silence. Sit with that breath. Interesting. Okay, what's actually calling to you now? We have the Five of Scrolls, diversity in the reverse. They're saying it's a wanting to get out and explore, to connect, to diversify one's own experiences, to include all, to be involved in matters that are important to you, in things that will change the minds of our future generations. I just heard diversity is the key to our own human evolution. We must accept, understand, and love. That's a loud call, my pal, too. Damn. And then, what do you feel? Yeah. Gonna read from the book from this, but it's like, what do you want to contribute to the world? And they talk about apples and oranges, right? It's like there's always going to be duality on this unit, on this planet. You know, there is, peace isn't really, I'm sorry to say, really attainable, but grace is, compassion is, love is. So regardless of the viewpoints of the apples and oranges, Again, talk about diversifying being the energy. How do I combine this? How do I make a... How would I combine that? What would be the better version? Apple orange? Apple orange? Orange app? Orange app? Like, how do I mutate them to sort of integrate, or not doing that, keeping them individual, but still allowing them to combine and show how they complement each other. I love apples and oranges, and together they're just as delicious. Could I say one more favorable than the other? But that's a personal preference, which is what this whole duality is about. So how do you feel? How do you want to include, and how do you want to be included? There's a completion energy with this too. Okay, let me read for you. There are many opinions around you. Some are helpful, but others are distracting you from your truth. Although it can be helpful to hear the thoughts of others, when it all comes down to it, you will have to come to your own decision. Do you know how unique you are? How your path is your path to be chosen, lived, and created only by you. Someone else cannot become the source of your decision-making power without negative repercussions for both you in the long run. That muse in the reverse, that following along, You have become swept up in thinking things through. You have been thinking about which way to go with a matter of importance, and you have got a bit stuck in the logic of the decision-making process. Sometimes we have to accept that any path is a path forward, and if it is not the best path, we can change our approach later on if needed. This is his fog time. This is his veil time. This is the reason why. They want you to know, how do you feel? What do you choose for you? If we are slightly off base with a decision, life will often shift and move to guide us back on track. We don't have to be perfect. In fact, there is rarely ever a perfect choice to be made. Just some choices that feel more heart-honoring than others. Take a different approach to something. Be open to that which makes you uncomfortable, but could be exciting and interesting. Even small adventures will yield big rewards right now. So, everything fitting in for you, that's what's calling for you, is for you to sit in this void energy, to figure out how you feel and how you want to be included. What is your individual voice? Maybe it's culinary arts. Maybe the culinary arts are actually calling to you. Maybe it's diversifying in your, again, cultural experiences, like I said, right? Or if you are a chef, for that example, maybe you're changing the type of cuisine you'd like to focus on. Maybe there's going to be a different fusion for you, using this as an example. But I'm getting like food brings people together. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. It brings people together. So diversifying, like, what does that look like for you? How are you feeding this energy for you? How do you feel? That's what they want you to find in this downtime. Amazing. The assistance available to you. We have the 5 of Keys, which is like the 5 of Pentacles, but different. Wishes fulfilled. This cornucopia, this bounty. I just heard needing for naught. Amazing. Okay, then we have I Am Presence, the Cosmos, Celestite, number 15. They said that what's available to you, or the assistance, is remembering the I am. That I am the one who's creating this. I am the muse. I am the one creating my wishes to be filled. I am the one giving me and granting my wishes also. Power animal, personal power. Chrysotile, number 20. Personal power. Your power animal. The bear might be significant for you also. But again, this is what you're finding. You're finding your personal power in this I am presence. This, again, animals had come out a lot very strongly for you. So in general, I feel like power animals are really important. Eagle, bear, dog. Those are the 3 that I'm seeing at most. And they're giving me like deer or antelope for some reason. So if those or any of those are your spirit animals, or you have a particular spirit entity or animal entity that you look or call upon for strength or guidance, they are also here with you and asking you to tap into that. So maybe it's a different way of tapping into this cosmic force energy, They said like walking the animal's path. That's interesting. Oh, they said something about this going through the veil. They're like, animals, like they're talking about animals know and sense weather, but they don't fear it. They don't fear the weather. They don't fear the disaster. They just react. An instinctive reaction. And there's something about that instinctive reaction of trusting in you. Okay. Yeah, it's just, again, the assistance is you are deeply connected and you're now awakening to this understanding of self, this power within. You're stepping into this new journey of self. There is assistance and guidance with you, always whispering to you to help you and guide you and keep you on track. Yeah, they're asking you again just to move forward in your power. That's the assistance here. This is what you're gaining. Resilience. And letting go of procrastination, but also they said embracing a sense of that feeling for you, because it's going to feel like a good chunk, like they bring me back to this, like that you're going to feel like you're doing frick all, you know, and you're like, what the frick am I doing here? Like, I'm just stagnant. There's nothing happening, but there's so much going on for you. And also a reminder that do not procrastinate when it comes to this personal power. Do not go back to that old version of yourself because it was easier, or you could navigate it easier because you was going through it for so dang long. You know, no. The assistance available to you now is like you're stepping into this and letting go of this procrastination energy, while also knowing when it is a beneficial tool to take the pause, to procrastinate a little bit until you find those answers. Again, refocusing to figure out what's really going on here. All right? Beautiful. Okay, let's see the fuel to keep you going. You have the Akashic Library. And Hilarion in the reverse. This is really fitting for you too, because this is sort of like this is like the Oracle Delphi, you know, the spiritual guide. This is like ancestors and all of your spiritual team. Like it's all of them are here and they're in the reverse, which is interesting. Because what I'm feeling from this here is your fuel to keep going is like knowing that they're always here, but you have the power to do it on your own too. Like the support system's not going nowhere, like at all. And the Akashic Record, the Akashic Library of yourself, which is what you are now rewriting or writing or tearing out and rewriting, you know, making a new one entirely. So it's like you don't have to rely on our past ways, our past teachings, our past, all of it, you know. You just need to remember the core essence of what what the key points of their own lessons taught for your bringing in of the new evolution of yourself. I hope that makes sense. That was kind of a long way to get there. But the Akashic Library for you, my beauty, it's like you're ready now to write in it yourself. Like you are writing in it now. It is no longer being scripted is what I'm feeling. And again, this is not in a negative sense. They're allowing you now, because you are confident enough or will be, to take the lead in your own life. No longer being somebody else's or only somebody else's muse, or finding that you didn't have that within you. They will always be here. If you need them, they will come. But they're like, we can step back now. That's the energy again. We can step back because you got this now. You're strong enough now. They're bringing me to that, geez, every time I'm not paying attention. Sorry about that. So yeah, this energy is just a call to you to continue to trust, continue to keep moving, because we got you. So even if you feel like you are alone, or, you know, what's happening here, call on us. Call on your spirit animals. Call on you. Then you have Miracle of Isis. Talk about bringing those fractals back to self, right? Miraculous healing of the goddess. Gonna read a passage from the book, but this is the fuel available to you. This is that healing, right? The healing of your own power, of your personal power, of your I am presence, coming back, really bringing back the energy to self. They said that you guys might also have a connection to ℵ𝐿, because I'm trying to use, like, they're giving me the same phrases. I'm like, but I just said that for ℵ, like it still applies here. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just having full conversations with them. So, again, I'm going to read a little passage from the book for Miracle of Isis. It says, Isis was known as a talented practitioner of the healing arts and was capable of miraculous healings. For you, beloved, she offers a miracle healing. No matter how much you have struggled with a particular matter, no matter how impossible it may seem to imagine your life without this old wound, addiction, problem, relationship issue, or inner struggle with being a part of it, you are guided now to accept the possibility of miraculous healing, to let go and let the goddess be. This is an indication that a spiritual gift or awakening of deep healing ability at a new level are coming your way. Keep your eyes and heart open and let go of doubt and fear about opening up to the new level of proficiency. Dedicate your work to divine love and trust that it will flow through you stronger now. You are capable of great work when you trust in your own heart and the love of the divine flowing through you with total surrender. That's it, my lovely. That is your fuel, this healing that is available to you. All of this is what's happening in this fog, I'm telling you. Beautiful. And politics. Fuel to keep you going. That's interesting. Again, it's this talking about change, right? This does feel like politics too. And rewriting politics, it can be that very significant for a good chunk of you. You know, that this whatever's happening politically and wherever you are might be the driving force for this change in you, for you to change your direction of how diversity is seen, you know, of the war of what used to be. I did talk about a monarchy of some kind, you know, so that patriarchal system, again, following along and fitting in somehow, but it's not really you, you're loving, and it's, again, there's a whole bunch, so that's very applicable in however you view politics in your own life, whether that be like for your country or, you know, or for just your personal environment. It's really amazing. And there underneath the deck is the, as I said, the one of force is the Akashic field, which is the Ace of Wands in the reverse. Again, there's a lack of energy right now, not in you per se, but you might feel that way, but they're saying like there's a lack of push. Right now it's quiet time. It's quiet. Yeah, the Queen of Keys in the reverse. It's like there's something that you're still waiting for to come in, meaning spiritually has to finish first. And that Sphinx energy, wisdom. They said there's a gaining of some more information that's needed within this downtime. Yes, again, absolutely. I totally feel this, you know, like this muse energy, again, this downtime, using your performing arts or this creative energy to get into that, or to enjoy this down space or this phase in you. It's amazing. Like my collective appeal to you, it's so lovely. I hope this was helpful for you, and it gave you some insight into what's calling to you now, and I hope it was helpful. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Ciao. Hello, my pal 3. Okay, we're going to spread out your cards and then get into your messages. All right, my beautiful collective of pile 3. I'm going to use the Akashic Tarot. We're going to get a card for each position, and then I will explain each position as a card comes out, and then get into your messages. This position is what you originally wanted. You have Archangel Raphael and Reflection both in the reverse. How it is now. I was just about to say, you guys have a lot of double cards, 2 of Worlds and the 5 of Keys, which is literally almost showing up for every pile. What you're saying goodbye to, position 3. 3 of Keys, the chess game. What will remain behind? The 5 of Roses, the garden. How it will be from here on. The Queen of Scrolls in the reverse. What is calling for you? What is actually calling for you now? We have birth. Sorry about that. The assistance available to you. Said first card only. Scrolls, paths unknown. And then the fuel to keep you going. Muse in the reverse. Underneath the deck, you have the Buddha prepares in the reverse. Okay, my collective, let's get into your messages. As I said, you have a lot of double cards. So what you originally wanted, we have Archangel Raphael in the reverse and Reflection in the reverse. This is interesting, pile 3. I'm getting an interesting energy of what you originally wanted, which is kind of, I guess, bizarre to say in that context. Like, it almost feels like you didn't want to connect. And they're talking about your own spiritual gifts and actually talking about heart connecting. And well, how I can relate to this in particular, this energy, I remember being, I think I was probably about 9 or 10, and my mother's mother passed away, and she's the only one in my immediate, in my family, I would actually say, the only one in my family that I remember feeling seen by. You know, my mom comes from a very large, like she has 9 brothers and sisters, and they don't live in the same country that I do, but we used to visit frequently. And she was the only adult in my life that talked to me, like talk to me, not talk to me like a child, not talk to me like, how are you doing today? Was it fun? Was it cute? I wasn't that kid, you know, like I was really deep and contemplative, very, very shy. But she kept it real. She didn't hide things from me like most adults did. And I know that everybody has their own teaching style and everybody has their own parenting style. But she didn't hide her, you know, like the things that are deemed bad. Like when she had a drink, or if she had a cigarette, or if she wanted to go out, if she was angry, if she was happy, if she just wanted to be left alone. She never hid her emotions in my perspective. So when she had passed, I was like, because she was the first person that I felt like love for, that I wouldn't see on a regular basis. Like I understood what that was like. You know, my father's grandma, I did not feel that kind of empathy and compassion, even though she technically did like more things motherly than my mom's mom. You know, it was a really interesting dynamic. So this is what it's bringing me to. And because of that, of when she passed, I remember hiding behind my father. I didn't cry, but I remember hearing my mother wailing, like wailing. I'll never forget that sound, that pitch too. And all of her children, you know, that were there, and her grandchildren and her great grandchildren for some, you know, like it's a very large side of my mom's side is very large. So like that energy of the loss was so heavy to feel as a very sensitive child. And as a crier, the fact that I didn't cry was very odd for me. Like I remember feeling like this is weird that I don't know how to feel. And I remember trying to shield behind my dad. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't want to feel like this again. I don't want somebody to wail like that for me. I don't want people to hurt like that. Like I felt hurt from them, you know? And for me, I was more shocked by, I wish I had not seen an open casket. That'd be my only request as a kid. It didn't traumatize me in this sense, but when you actually feel a cold body and then you realize that that is just a shell, that realization of what life is, well, for me anyways, it hit me in a very visceral way. Obviously not understanding that at that moment, but that's what it felt like. And I did not want to connect that way. I did not want to get too close to anybody so that I could avoid that feeling. That's what this feels like. I remember being in that energy very clearly. What did I do to get out of it? Oh, sorry, Spirit was asking me. I thought they were. Okay, so what I did was I grew, I I created family in my sense of family with friends, and whatever I felt that I was lacking unconsciously, I ended up getting a friend that had exactly that in spades. Meaning, like, the right type of nurture that I wanted, or the right type of involvement in the life, or I don't know, something. There was something that whatever I felt was missing, I ended up always getting satisfied from my best friends' families, or the people I encountered, period. And because of that, and they're all being all different cultures, one of my first best friends was Filipino, the other was Italian, and my longest best friend was Romanian, and I grew up the most with her. She was technically my second family. So, with that being said, and some other cultures naturally, but with that being said, they all have a different custom when it comes to grief and funeral. And me being exposed to the way different people celebrated death and life was what made me change this perspective. Regardless if it was my personal belief or not, I was like, what a beautiful way to celebrate this, because this makes more sense to me. I know that it's sad, and that, you know, in circumstances like my grandmother's where she had lived a life, fully lived her life, that's something to be celebrated. I know that sometimes, like suicide, for example, is not easy to celebrate, meaning their life, not easy because it feels too short. And I can attest to that too, as my nephew also did commit suicide. So I understand both is what I'm getting at, but how I felt like I dealt with my nephew's suicide and his death was I remembered, or I tried to put in as much love as I can, because I know that if anybody were to feel like that was their decision, there's very probably little I could have done to prevent that choice. It is his soul's choice. And whatever lesson and hurt that they may have been going through, they are no longer in. So I have to be happy with that. As shitty as it leaves us here on this earth, I have to be happy with them being at peace in some way that they could not attain here. And that's what got me through all of that, or out of that energy. I know I spent a lot of time on this, what you originally wanted, but this is what it feels like. There's a repressing of your psychic attunement and your connection to self and heart. And I feel it probably is because of something that left you feeling abandoned or alone or didn't want to feel anymore. Oh, wow. Wow. It's like, yeah, wow. And because of the fact, oh my goodness, Pal 3, because of the fact that this may have been or is your energy or has been, you 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 got taken down a path that was dark. That is dark. And dark's not always necessarily bad, don't get me wrong here. But this particular energy is like seduction and temptation. It is desires untapped, desires led free or released, untamed. It's like the absence of light, quite literally. Woo, Pal 3! This card talks about temptation, resisting, and willpower. There's something about it that you let go of. Like you no longer had the willpower to do it anymore. Like I really do feel like you got sucked into something, someone, an addiction, a person, a way of being, a lifestyle, an emotional dissonance. There's a phrase in the book that I'm going to read for you, and it says, "As we come to understand our weaknesses and the reasons for them, they lose their power to control us. The devil becomes simply a man in a silly hat." What is it about the ingredient called forbidden that whets the appetite? From the innocent indulgence of one or more pieces of chocolate, or something more significant, or a forbidden fruit of social behavior. We are often tempted, we indulge, even at risk to our health, our relationship to others, our well-being. Our ability to see through the illusion, to weigh the consequences and resist the temptations is a measure of our personal willpower, character, and strength. To succumb or to resist will be a choice that defines us. That's what you originally wanted. It's interesting, and I get it. I understand how that pendulum can swing. And I don't necessarily feel like this was like a conscious thing where I'm just like, fuck it all, you know, like F the world, full anarchy, here we go. Like I don't feel it's that ignorant is what I'm trying to say, you know? There's something like it was a deliberate emotional choice that you felt like this was the opposite, the complete opposite to not create this again. So you went the other way. Wow, okay. Holy moly. Then we have, whoa, pile 3. This is a heavy trigger warning, and I apologize. I'm just delivering the messages as they come. Narcissistic and adolescence. I'm telling you, there is something about a persona, a vibe, it's not culty, but it kind of feels that way, you know? Like, when I was younger, I felt like gothy kind of felt culty because of it's like I loved the goth aesthetic and the vibe, but I was like, this still feels culty to me. No disrespect, I apologize, you know. But I'm just saying, when you're younger, like when you get swayed into different groups or energies because you're still discovering and finding out what works for you, and you go towards what works or what pulls you, I feel zero objections to that, zero. But that being said, this is what it feels like. I don't think that is necessarily gothy, but it feels like I get also the like that jock, you know, that was so popular and then tried to continue that essence and didn't really mature in high school, and they just become this crazy, weird, narcissistic freaking fuckboy, you know? Or yeah, the guy that doesn't really give a F about anybody, like the playboy, the asshole, the guy that gets into fights, probably would, you know, come to school drunk or something, you know, every once in a while, or hella high. Like, it's that kind of energy. Like, you did not want to feel. You went numb. Like, you chose to, like, that's what it feels like. You went numb. And these narcissistic traits of the people around you just kept feeding this original sin in you, so to speak, you know, which I don't really technically believe in that kind of sin. I feel like you sinned against yourself, in other words. That's what it's like. And this is during your adolescence very heavily, it feels like. Holy schmoly. I spent so long on this first card. It's going to be a long one for you, pile 3, excuse me. Okay, how is it now? Whoa. So we have the two worlds. That pretty much makes sense. 2 of Swords. In one and in the other, and wishes fulfilled. Okay, Spirit, what are you telling me here? Okay, so they're saying 2 things. You have to make a choice. That's the first thing that they're saying. You cannot live in these 2 worlds right now anymore, because right now it's fighting you, and it's burning you up inside is how they're describing it to me. They're bringing me to there's a lot of references for you. This animation called Violet Evergarden. And she is this, well, she was technically, I'm assuming, they don't really give a full background, but she was this sort of this orphan, but had this crazy ability, and she was just used as a tool, used for war, quite literally, and literally treated like a dog, like an unkept wild animal. And this one officer is she's given to him as like a gift from his brother. Ridiculous, but either way, he treats her like a human being and wants her to have a life, you know, but he's the first person that has shown her any kind of, again, being seen, you know. He also dies. Well, yes, he also dies. Won't give anything away. So, and that being said, it's like, again, a separation again. There's a separation but for her, what she does, as opposed to going into this energy, she keeps fighting, and she just feels he's not gone. He's not dead. So her search to fulfill his wish, which was, I want you to live. I want you to have a life and be happy and to love, and to be loved, and he names her after a violet flower. Violet flame might be significant for you too. So there's something about this, like you no longer being able to live in this world anymore, this narcissistic temptation, lack of feeling, this numbness. You can't stay here. And if you want your wishes to be fulfilled, you have to choose. And if you can see here, there's like the hearth and home, warmth, stability, everything you need. But outside also, if you can really see, the window is this beautiful vista. Is she bored? Is she discontent here? Is she alone? Does she want to be here? Is there a lack of excitement? Who knows? This is for you to feel, right? But it's a similar energy of this abundance. And this talks about a home, though. And I feel like this is the home within self. Do you want to honor yourself? Do you want to come back to self? Do you want to separate from that old version of you? Do you want to step into a new one of you? Do you want your wishes to be fulfilled? And this is what you're debating now. You want this, but you don't know you're of two minds, of two worlds. I don't know how to get here. I don't know what's expected of me. How do I do this? How do I break this cycle? How do I tap in again? The gambler. Interesting. Maybe you are a gambler. That might be you now, and you're weeding out some of this lower vibrational energy. But I'm also feeling like you're trying to take a gamble on you. Well, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. Exactly. Shadow attributes, relying on luck rather than hard work. And I guess you can't do that anymore, right? I don't think that you were, to be honest. I don't feel that energy at all. But it just feels like you have to take a gamble on yourself, my love. You cannot know the full outcome of this choice yet because you haven't made it. You haven't made that choice for you, and this is where you are now. You're trying to get your wishes fulfilled, trying to understand what your two worlds are. Can you merge them? Do I have to pick one? Which part of me am I going to take a gamble on? On the healthy side of me or on this addictive side of me? Sexual, exactly. Or on the sexual. Are you gambling with that? Are you gambling with your personal sexual autonomy? Are you escaping again still, and of two worlds where you have another partner and you're with somebody else? Are you not choosing again? There's something about, no offense, being greedy, my pile 3. And you're being greedy with your own love for self. Like this self-preservation is hurting you more than it's helping. Maybe, yeah, there's something about maybe trying to find a release through sexual encounters. There's a secret also about it. Again, you're gambling. There's a lot. You're gambling a lot. They keep reinforcing that. But I still do feel like you want something different. You want something better. I just feel like you've been in this for so long. You don't know how yet. Or you haven't reached out to people who you feel that you could trust. Or maybe there isn't anybody that you feel you can trust, but there is a number, there's people to call, there's, I'm sure, people who still are supporting you. Let's see what you're saying goodbye to. We have a 3 of keys, which is the chess game. Fitting. And the sacred space in the reverse. Wow. So what I'm getting here, what you're saying goodbye to, my beautifuls, is actually lovely. Like, it's not gonna, the sacrifice is there, yes. But what I'm getting here is a sacred space. It's like all of these secrets, or these secret parts of you, this gambler, this narcissistic, this sexual energy, this repressed adolescence, this numbing, the addictions, the obsessions, the lack of compassion for self in some ways. That chess game of you playing 2 lives or 4 lives or whatever lives, is coming to an end. Like this sacred space of you having this secrecy, you are choosing, I feel, or spirit is choosing to cut it out for you. You're not going to have the space now where things are going to be kept quiet and you can brush them under the rug, or people aren't paying attention as much anymore. It's not the case. The chess game is done, is what they're saying. It's like checkmate now, my friend. You either have to checkmate yourself or spirit's going to check you. And that's that sacred space of where you felt so that you could hide all of this is what I'm getting. It's no longer, you can't. You have to say goodbye to it. And I also do feel like you want to, mind you. Like I do feel that. You have children. Again, children might be a factor when I was talking about this actual sexual partner possibility, but this might be the reason why maybe somebody became pregnant and these are going to change everything. Who knows? Maybe life is just changing in general. And the old way of you can no longer be, you can't be this gambler because of children. You can't be frivolous with or just have, I don't know, like however this applies, but children definitely can be a factor. I'm also getting a sense of healing this adolescent, this childhood trauma of yours, of whatever this is, that's also being here. The game's done. You know, that sacred space of keeping this locked away and being numb is over. And then you have travel and adventure. Yeah, this is going to be an adventure for you, and you have to travel back into self is what they're telling me. Travel back into self. Yeah, that adventure right now is you, of you venturing into the childhood traumas and venturing away from no longer being in this energy. They want you to surpass this now. Okay, what remains behind? We have the Five of Roses, the garden. Similar to the Five of Cups, but it's not. What I really feel always in this card is beautiful. I feel a sense of wonder, discovery, of growth, of nurture, of nature, of interest, of creativity. That's what I feel. And I feel that what's leaving behind is a naivety within you, a childhood part of you got lost. It's almost like it's getting retrieved is really what I'm getting at. You know, like I know this is what's behind it. I feel like this lack of tapping into this innocence, that lack of ability is what's being left behind. You're strengthening this ability either to connect with actual children, to connect with your own inner child, to cultivate and grow and blossom within this new understanding or this new vibration that you're wanting to step into. It's wonder and curiosity. You are bringing that back into your life is what I'm getting. Shaman of courage, abso-freaking-lutely. You're leaving behind the lack of courage to address this in you. Yes, Spirit. Yes, Pile 3. The Shaman of Courage helps you discover the resources that are available within you. And the ones you may not even know that you possess. You're in a very important time of your growth and spiritual evolution. And no matter how small this increase or this growth is, it is important. This courage will guide and protect you even when you are, excuse me, even when you feel like you're in danger. It's about finding the courage to advance, about understanding your loss of power or the loss that happened, you know, wherever that was, recovering lost strengths, facing your dangers and insecurities, maintaining calm, transforming fear into power. And that's what this is. This is all fear-based. And then LGBTQT, beautiful. Two energies that I'm getting here, leaving behind. So not in a disrespectful way, but the sense of openness, and again this frivolity when it comes to like maybe sexual natures. This is what I'm getting with the LGBTQ, not to categorize it that way, but because it's being so open and inclusive with anything when it comes to this expression of love is what I'm getting at. This is what you're leaving behind in a sense. It's like this lack of, again, feeling attachment, of being all over the place and not feeling centered. You know, that garden within self, again, that inner child that didn't get a chance to fully be expressed or fully developed in some way. It's finding the courage, again, to step into your own personal truth All right, let's see how it will be from here. We have the Queen of Scrolls, which is the Queen of Swords, in the reverse. I heard hard work, very disciplined with self. You cannot relent on self. Make sure that you are accountable. There may also be certain separations with people that you might need to cut out of your life to nurture this new life that you're stepping into, or that you want to step into, this new energy, this new healed energy. And desert, yeah, vision quest. Yeah, there's something about like cutting out, like drying out, and letting things leave them where they are, in other words. Sorry. The vision for you, the quest for you is what's here, what's real. You know, what you can tackle now, what you can let go of, recognizing what you've been doing, you know, who you've been affecting and how it's been hurting you, how it's stunted and prevented you from your full blossoming. There are certain things that need, and people that need to be cut out for this vision quest, absolutely, so that you can come back to earth, come back down, to get rooted, grounded, back into nature, back into your body, back into feeling. Back into feeling. Let's see what's actually calling you now. Talk about birth. This is like a rebirth energy for you. It is. Yet. Birth. Again, this children energy. There could be a heavy emphasis on children being born, family, connection, absolutely. But there is also in the same weight of it being about childhood traumas, adolescent traumas, whatever, however young you were. There's something about that. So what's being called to you is a rebirth of self. A rebirth, a restart is really what they're saying. Let's start over. Let's do this right. Big, bold vision, vision quest. This is the goal. This is the insight. This is the truth. That's what's being called to you now. This big, bold vision of you. Let's get out of this old version of yourself that you thought that this was the best way to handle the hurt. And it's no longer working for you. Never really has, but it was what you had to experience and what you chose, and there's nothing wrong with that choice. But now it is no longer helping you to continue to evolve, so you have to make a change. There is a choice. And that's the introvert. They're saying you need to come within and go back in now. None of this. It's narcissistic energy outside, like party. I feel party. Booze, drugs, sex, money, status, show off, showboaty. That's what I feel. And then skillful. Yeah, they're asking you to use your skills and be quiet. They're like, go back in and tap into your talents. Step away from all these energies, this overburden of put out, like output. It's like it's too much masculine energy. That's literally what it is. It's just too much. So the big, bold vision for you, my friend, is what's being called to you. To use your skills to come back into self. To rebirth yourself. To reparent yourself. They also just said to refather yourself. Holy cow, Pile 3. This is deep. Okay, let's see the assistance available to you. 8 of Scrolls. Paths unknown. Which way to choose? Again, it's all about choices for you, Pile 2. Pile 3. Wow, sorry. Then we have Amethyst Amethyst Celestial. Medicine Pouch. Soul Awakening. Absolutely. Sorry. And we have perfect Grandmother Crystal Deva. Crystal Blessing. Cathedral Library. She is like the fairy godmother of this particular deck. Like, my friend, I know this feels freaking dark if this applies to you in any way that this resonates, but this is a part of the soul awakening. This is a huge one for you. This is a big jump. And no wonder she is here. She is guiding, protecting, guarding, and lighting your path. You know, for you to step out of this energy, for you to step into your own light. for you to be blessed with the magic she wants to bestow on you, the gift that she's willing and wanting and has been waiting to give you. And they also just brought me to an ancestral energy. So if what the reference I gave when it came to like a grandmother passing, or somebody that you cared for in the same energy that I described, that's who's watching with you and who's with you now. Whoever that person may have been that put you, they didn't put you there, but that energy, that emotional place that you chose to change, the event, let's put it that way, the event or the cause of the switch, they're there with you now. And they're saying that the assistance is, it's like they see, because your mind or your mental game has changed about your approach or your perspective on who you were. And like I said, this is where you are now, right? So there's certain things that you're still debating. You're still in the two worlds, but you are still doing the work to try and get yourself out of, because the recognition of that want to change and then no bueno of it all is present. It's in that third eye. So, and they recognize that you've been working on this, even if it's just been mentally, you know, thinking about, how do I get out of this? This is not right. And you keep falling back into patterns. They still see you and they're still supporting you and saying, do not give up. But you need to receive some of us. Your prayers have been answered and your dreams will become a reality, but you need to trust in what's happening for you in this unknown phase, in this soul awakening. You know, there's like these scrolls that she has here, and she's like contemplative of like, which way do I go? There's like a really lit up path here, and there's like a rockier one here. Where does she turn around? You know what I mean? Like, what do you choose with this fox here? Raccoon and a squirrel and a white dove and a bird. What do you choose? Again, back to this two worlds, this medicine pouch. Taking the wisdom with you is what I'm hearing. There's talking about accessing the wisdom again of past lives, but it's talking about your past experiences, using that to further your skill moving forward. It's like you're waking up finally from a deep sleep. Like I said, this numbness, you're finally waking up, you're beginning to feel. This awakening is happening in your blood, it's in your bones, and in your consciousness. You're expanding to a higher level of understanding of self, and understanding of past self. There is something stirring and brewing, and they want you to answer that call. Please do not give up. Cartomacy, look at this. The assistance available, I guarantee you, has something to do with this card or tarot readings in general. Sorry, this reading or tarot readings in general, or what's been coming up for you lately for you to address. I guarantee some of this cartomacy or these readings have been helpful for you. Not necessarily mine, I'm just saying readings in general. Helpful for you. And that's what's here. They're like, look for some guidance in that sense, you know. There is help available to you. There are wise people here that will help you on your journey, help you make that decision, or help you make it through and continue on that path of the choice you've already made. Instinctually and inherently in you, you know. So the fuel to keep you going is the Muse in the reverse. Do not look outside of yourself for any type of inspiration. That's what they're saying. Like, they know that this is going to be difficult, but you've been outside of yourself for so long. That's why the introvert needs to come now. You cannot find that energy or that inspiration, that creative spark, or that they're giving it to me that high. They're saying it to me that way. You can't get that high from this energy anymore. It's not going to affect you. It's not going to do the same thing for you like it did before, or it hasn't been, hence why, you know, like your appetites may have changed to gambling or sexual. You know what I'm getting at? Like, there's something that you're trying to feed right now, and you've been trying to do it on the external instead of on the internal, which is introverted, which is feed you, the big bold vision of you, rebirth you, feed your skill, and come back into self. And then we have the port of light. Look at her hand. She's like, come with me. Come with me. She glides on wings through time and space. I will read a passage from the book. You are that muse, but come with me. She's saying it loud in my ear. And a fire sign. You might be a fire sign that might be very significant, or a fire sign might be very significant. And they're also talking about that power that's within you, and that force, that masculine force, that thing that was burning up in you. That's what I was talking about, right? Something that's burning up. But the fuel, this is the fuel though, to use this fire within you. Use it in a different way now, into the light as opposed to into the dark. And again, I just a reminder, I am not dismissing the dark. The dark is necessary, and I claim both, meaning in the sense that there is not one without the other. They exist simultaneously. You have to learn how to be comfortable and understand the dark so that you can use this light. They work hand in hand. And for you, you've already had the experience of going into this depth of this darkness, and now you're coming out, which ultimately, once you get there, will make you this brilliant, skillful, beautiful, complete expression of the light and shadow. You know? She glides on wings through time and space. It is only this physical reality that is bound by time and space. You are a being conscious on levels beyond the physical world. You are guided to work with your healing powers beyond the confines of time and space and to allow your sense of self to expand. It is safe for you to do this now. You will not become ungrounded through such spiritual growth. You are not leaving your earthly awareness. You are instead adding to it. Exactly that. You are adding to this energy now, understanding it better. This oracle brings a special guidance that a phase of time or experience is over, and a new cycle at a higher vibrational turn of the spiral is beginning. So prepare to ascend. Expect things to become lighter, freer, and faster moving in your life, even perhaps whilst you appear to be more surrendered and more peaceful within yourself. That's it, my beauty. Like, that is it. That is the fuel for you. It is over, this part of you. So step into this and embrace this. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. And this Buddha prepares in the reverse. It's speaking to me today of, you're not ready yet. You know, like you're still in the process of, but this is happening, this soul awakening, this heightened consciousness, this releasing of, this preparing so that you can set your course. New sight, new horizon. That beautiful rainbow is what they're focusing on for me. It's like you're ready now. Initiation, Count of Saint Germain. I'm telling you, you're ready. You'll be ready after this. Like you're going through this process and this vision quest, this downtime, this whatever you need to cut out. This down to earth is what I'm saying. This down to earth time, coming back into the self. That's what's really, you know, this is what's coming into like presently. This is where you're going to be in. And that's going to lead you into all of this big, bold vision, the help available to you, the soul awakening, this initiation, this finding your power again, finding your light again, feeling again. I cannot emphasize that enough. Feeling again. And I think it almost like they're giving me, I don't get virus colds, like literally don't. Like since I was like 12, I can't lie. But the one time when I had a parasite in my stomach, I guess it was my equivalent to what a flu must feel like for a majority of people. And that skin, that tender skin touch where everything like hurts, that's what I'm getting here. It's like you're going to be coming back into the field so much that things might be a little tender. Like a little tender, like so because you've been numb for so long. And I do feel like it's a quest, my friend. It's an absolute quest. And it's not a short journey. And you know, any of those epic quests that you watch on television in those movies, there's always hella freaking struggles. Something that they got to overcome. People that they got to meet. Figuring out who they can trust. You know, all of those things. And this is what you're on. You're in it. And my beautiful collective Pal 3, I apologize if this was very difficult to hear. I was not expecting this at all. I just delivered the messages as clearly as I could. I hope I did not provoke anybody to feel less empowered. I wanted you to feel empowered, to feel love, to know that you got that spirit is with you, that this is not something to be ashamed of. It's just something to look at. And why did I go here? Why did I choose that path? You can always switch it in what you're doing right now. And spirit is right here with you. Right here with you. Oh, my collective of Pal 3, please, I hope this was helpful. I'm sending you so very much love. You're doing this and I'm freaking proud of you. Freaking proud of you. Until next time, keep watering your life.